So today I finished the whole future bass song that I was working on, so let's hear what I've got. So let's see what we got here. So if you haven't, make sure to watch my previous video on how to make a future bass melody, where I created the melody lines, the hooks for this song. Basically the new things that I added are the vocals. So I just used the FL Studio default samples.
Come on, dance.
Yeah, and I used the gross beat to create something like this. Yeah, and then I added another synth, so synth number 3 sounds like this. And I automated the cutoff.
Come on, baby.
And I also added the bass. Just a simple 808 style bass. I'm gonna put the FLP and all of the Sylenth presets into the description for you to download for free. So you're free to remix it and like research it. I think that's all. I just added some like special effects, some of the sub hits like this one.
Baby.
Yeah, and this effect here.
Dance.
The sub is from Vengeance Samples. This is also from Vengeance Samples, and this one is like a sound effect which I found online. I think it was a free sample. And then there's all sorts of automation going on and a little bit of mixing that I did. So I'm gonna show you that.
Dance.
Well, in the beginning, you can hear there's some automation going on. So what that is basically the two main synths. I automated the reverb button on one, and I automated the cutoff on both of them. And I also added some EQ to the master. It's basically this thing here. Yeah, and then the EQ shuts off. I also automated the filter cutoff of the main melody. Now we've got another thing automated, that's the pitch bend of both synths. As you can hear the pitch detunes at the end. And that weird glitchy effect is a gross beat. It's like a pattern in gross beat. Gross beat is pretty cool. You can do all sorts of fun effects. It's basically gross beat which is put on the master, and it is turned on just for like one measure before the bass kicks in. Alright, I also panned the hi-hat. I don't think I showed you that in the last video. Do just a simple pan automation. Right click here, create the automation clip, and you just make it pan from left to right. Now I want to show you the side chaining. Yeah, the kick is side chained to, I think, everything. Right, to both synths, both melodies, the bass, and to the vocals, and to the noise uplifter to make the whole thing groove a little bit better. Now I want to show you the mixing that I did. So let's start with the kick. Basically just EQ and a limiter. Without it, it sounded like this. So it sounded pretty deep. I made it more punchy and like aggressive. So when I EQ, I just go by ear. I removed some of the low end from it to make it more punchy and aggressive, and I boosted here around 1900. Then I added a limiter just to make it more like a distorted. So without the limiter and with the limiter, yeah, it sounds better in the overall mix. Now for the clap, we've got some reverb, some EQ, so I removed the low end and boosted some of the high end air frequencies, and I added the limiter so it distorts a little bit to make it more aggressive. And there's another clap. I panned one to a little bit to the left and the other one a little bit to the right. Yeah, this one is super punchy. So I just removed some of the low end, and I added a limiter as well. So we've got the head next. So I removed everything except the highest frequencies to make it a little bit thinner, and so it doesn't take too much space in the mix. And I added some reverb to it. Then I added another head, it's this one. So just EQ'd the low end and boosted it here, so it sits better in the mix. And we've got this cowbell thing, just some reverb. We've got this, it says snap, but it's not a snap, it's a snare. I added some distortion here, the fruity blood red overdrive, and a little bit of reverb, just like I think it's at 1% or something. And I added a limiter. Right, so that's for the drums. Now the synths, what did I do to the synths? Let's hear the first synth. So just removed some of the low end. It's always good to remove some of the low end to not get a muddy mix. If you've got too much low mids and lows, your mix just sounds like, I don't know, like muddy and watery, which can be a good thing. It depends on the song. I boosted some of these frequencies around 1300 here and around 7000 here. Then there's the other synth. See, I pretty much did the same thing. It's not exactly the same because it's different frequencies, but I removed the low end and boosted some of the high notes at 2000, 3000, 5000 and 10,000 hertz. So it sounds more like air and less like water. So the melody, too, yeah, just the low end thing. Arps, bass. And that's funny because like the future bass genre doesn't really have a lot of bass. I'm not sure why it's called future bass, but you know, the bass has gotta be there, but it's not really that present in the mix. So I removed some of the sub. I just, you know, I removed like pretty much everything except this little thing here. So the bass is pretty quiet and it's sidechained to the kick. Now this is the third synth. I didn't do anything to it. I didn't even sidechain it. You could sidechain it. I don't think you need to sidechain because there's the filter control which pretty much does sidechain itself. Now we've got the vocal chops. I just increased the volume with the EQ and I sidechained it to the kick so it sits better. As you can see, future bass is all about the drop and having build-ups to the drop, right? So we have a build-up here, then we've got the drop, which, you know, extends with the melody and the arpeggios. Then we've got another little build-up here, and then we've got like the drop or the chorus or whatever again. And then we've got this like bridge break thing. So basically there's two melodies playing in here. I used both of the melodies which I created in the melody tutorial. So they're playing both at the same time. I think it sounds like a cool bridge type of effect. And then it ends, and then at the end I added some reverb. It's always nice to end on reverb. Alright, so make sure you download the FLP and the presets in the video description and tell me what you think of this video. If you liked it, make sure to comment, like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more of these videos.